Hello, welcome back to Learn Oikonomia. Today we discuss the concept of Decoy effect. So this effect is also known as asymmetric domination effect. So this is other name of Decoy effect. When we say decoy effect, what we mean is the cognitive bias that we could see when consumers would tend to have a specific change in their preferences when they are given with two options, along with that also presented with a third option which would become asymmetrically dominated. This effect is seen when we are choosing between two alternatives. The addition of a third one, which would be a less attractive option, can influence our perception of the original two choices. Decoys are considered to be asymmetrically dominated because they are completely inferior to one option, which is considered to be the target, and at the same time, this is partially inferior to the other option, which is also considered as a competitor. For the same reason, Decoy effect is known as asymmetrically dominated effect or asymmetric domination effect or asymmetric dominance effect. What are the individual effects of Decoy effect? It could cause us to spend and consume more than what we really need. When a decoy option is present along with our or along with already available options, we would tend to make choices which would be based less on which option will best suit our purpose, and this would be based more on what we feel like the most advantageous choice. The problematic thing here is that following your intuition does not always mean that we are making the smartest choice, even though we assume that economic agents are rational economic agents. When it comes to consumers, it is believed that these people are utility maximizing agents. At certain point of time, especially when decoy is available, we would be making that choice which will not be the smartest choice. So most of the time, the decoy effect would lead us to pick a more costly alternative rather than this situation otherwise. What are the systemic effects with respect to decoys? These are commonly used. Decoys are commonly considered to be a tool used by business persons, and also this is used in corporations. This is to nudge us into buying more than what we really need. We can see that this is something that we can see in our real life experiences, and over time this can add up to a big hit on our finances, and also it would affect our health. Many products which is already available in the market play with the trick of deco. So here consumers would be pushed with decors such as unhealthy foods, and this would include soft drinks. This would include overconsumption of such a certain product that will create as with severe as well as serious health consequences. Sugary beverages is another example of this decoy effect. So here what we can see is that these commodities in particular have been linked to an increased risk of type 2 diabetes, and it can cause heart diseases, and also several other medical issues would be related with these kinds of products. So we if we go by the effect of deco, we would be consuming a little more than the product that we actually meant to consume, and this will lead us to face a lot of health issues. What happens or why it happens? Before getting into the reasons why this is so effective, let's explain the concept of asymmetric domination, and that too very clearly. Okay, so this decoy situation is considered to be a situation where you will be having three choices, and out of this you will be choosing one. The target is a choice someone it's a choice someone else want you to make, and the competitor is the option competing with the target. Here the deco would be another option which would be added to nudge your target. I mean to nudge you towards the target. What is the crux of deco effect? The crux of the same is the fact that the deco must be asymmetrically dominated by the target as well as the competitor. And this is with respect to the two properties. Let's call these properties as property A and property B. Okay. So this means that the target would be rated better than the deco, and this is with respect to both A as well as B, while the competitor is better on A but worse on B. Just consider the case of a popcorn example. In this case, the customer, are actually trying to evaluate the options available based on two factors: the size of the popcorn as well as the price of the popcorn. So, the large the popcorn you get, or if you get a large popcorn or the packet which consists of a huge quantity, that is considered to be the target. And the small quantity popcorn is known as a competitor. The medium popcorn is something here works as a deco, and this would become asymmetrically dominated by the other two. Although it is bigger than the smaller packet, it is also expensive than the smaller packet, making it only partially superior. Comparing the medium sized packet with a large packet, you can see that it contains this large packet contains a lot more of popcorn compared to the medium sized packet, and this is only slightly more expensive than the medium, and making it less expensive per unit. Here the situation is actually used in an informal experiment, and this is what is conducted by the National Geographic. As per this study, although very few people purchased the large popcorn or packet, with their only other option was small. Once this medium-sized popcorn or the medium-sized packet was introduced as a deco, the large became irresistible. How does Decoy work subconsciously? It is told as well as it is felt as well as it is experienced that Deco effect would happen, and this is something which would work subconsciously. This is considered to be an example of a behavioral nudge, which would be a type of intervention that would be steering individual towards making a certain choice. So nudges that do not manipulate behavior by providing large incentives to behave in a certain way, or there can be some kind of threatening happening from some form of with some form of punishment happening as a result of failing to do this. Also you could see people would involve people would engage in having subtle changes to their environment or situation. So when it comes to the case of nuts, the Deca effect does not technically violate our free will because it doesn't impose any restriction on us. But usually, what we could see is Deckers will affect us without us realizing that. So this is something that can happen subconsciously. This invisibility is considered to be a part of what makes the Deca effect so powerful. The idea here is that the decision making capacity of a human being or a consumer is influenced by the factors outside our awareness, and this is something which we usually consider as hard to believe. Researchers have shown that in general we are not a very good person at determining the reasons for our own behavior. Human beings are not good persons to determine their own behavior. So even though we believe that we control our decisions, we should understand that in reality what happens is that certain times our subconscious mind would guide our decisions. In one study, researchers had participants who were asked to memorize some pair of words. So once they did so, they completed a word association task where they were asked to name examples of certain type of object. Some words were given in pairs, and for example, if the pair would consist of bread and butter, and the pair cukes worked as internet. Individuals who were exposed to a given prime were twice as likely to name the target word. But when asked why they had responded in the way they did, they told that very few participants considered the word as pairs. So instead, their explanations focused on something defining feature of the target. They were trying to define the target, and their explanations were related to that aspect. We could see that decoys would make the choice feel less overwhelming. And how does this happen? Decoys would be serving as to de-stress the decision-making process. So there is some kind of paradox of choice here, and this is a concept that would describe how the more options we have, the more difficulty to make a decision. Although it is very much difficult to make a choice when a lot of opportunities or a lot of choices are available, ultimately we will be making a choice. Although you would think having a broader selection would simplify the process, in reality this is not so. This will create this we will get so overwhelmed when we are given a lot of choices. So there are few reasons why this happens. In such a situation or in a given situation where we have numerous factors influencing our choice or decision, there would be less certainty about us going for a particular option. In order to avoid preference of uncertainty or preference uncertainty, people would be typically picking a small number of factors to focus on in order to judge their option. This can be, for example, price and quantity. When we try to link how much quantity of we would be purchasing, we always try to associate the quantity with price. But we know that this is quantity is something that is influenced by a lot of factors apart from price. So the decoy effect would capitalize us on this aspect by manipulating the factors of interest. Preference uncertainty also make it more likely that we will make the recent space choice. So that's all about the decoy effect. I request you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos, and you can be a part of my Telegram channel and Telegram group to discuss your doubts. Thank you.